going against these batters, but you gotta love it. It's the last
regular season game, and there's no outside circumstances in order to get that first place seed. It's mano a mano. It's Bucs versus the Miners, a rivalry that's sort of been brewing throughout the years. Both of these teams were in the championship the past 2 years, so they all want one goal, and that is that first seed in regular season ABL title.
Again, we welcome you into the broadcast. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you. We got the sound fixed, and we're ready to go. Mat-Su Miners and Anchorage Bucs here today. Miners 26-17, the Anchorage Bucs 25-18. You can hear from the sound of the crowd. Everybody's ready to get rolling here in Palmer, Alaska. Leading things off, Daniel Fredrickson, the left fielder. Fredrickson, he hails from the Gonzaga University as he leads things off. On the season for Daniel Fredrickson, 23 hits and 106 at-bats as Brady Corrigan's first pitch hits the outside corner. This ball game is underway. Fredrickson batting .217, has 14 RBIs, 15 walks, and 18 strikeouts. From the windup, Corrigan deals, and this one's ground ball over to Josh Hatcher at first. He has it and takes it himself for the first out here at Harmon Brothers Field. One out, top of the first inning between the Anchorage Bucs and the Mat-Su Miners. We'll go through the defensive alignment for the Mat-Su Miners. In left field is Danny Wright. In center field, Connor Quiggle. In right field, Nick Brooks. Third base from left to right, Tyler Bassetti's at third, Drew Swift at short, Caleb Van Blake, the man at second base, and Josh Hatcher making a start today at first. On the mound is Brady Corrigan, and behind the plate is Austin Pinarini. First pitch into Jake Veith, the swung on, line drive deep out into left center field, ranging back to the wall, and that is one hops off the fence. Danny Wright has it, the throw in, it's a good one. On one hop, the tag, it is out. Danny Wright, a terrific arm out in left field. A one-hopper over to Caleb Van Blake, throws out Jake Veith for the second out here in the top of the first inning. What a play.
Talk about setting the tone. You want to come out and show your defensive superiority. Danny Wright, a dime piece right there of a throw. We saw him with a great throw earlier in the season. Now he does it here in a big situation. That is a huge out.
Huge out from Danny Wright in left field. An outfield assist for Danny Wright. Daniel Fredrickson and Jake Veith have been retired here in the top of the first. And now J.C. Correa stands in, takes a first pitch for a called strike. 0-1. Correa batting .282. He's seen the Miners very well as of late as he swings through that pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Everybody seems to be fired up today. The crowd is rowdy here at Harmon Brothers, and everybody knows what's on the line. An ABL title. As the first ball pitch from Brady Corrigan is delivered. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 away here in the top of the first.
And that out really got everybody fired up, from the bullpen to the fans to the dugout. That can really set the tone and change the course of this game.
Oh, this one hits the hip of J.C. Correa. Brady Corrigan misses well inside on that one. And J.C. Correa will be the first runner to reach base here in the ballgame.
And sort of everyone cheering, clapping. That came all to a halt when J.C. Correa got hit. Everyone wishing him the best, and hopefully he's not hurt, but he seems to be all right. Nevertheless, it looked like Brady just got a little too excited with that fastball and didn't have the best grip on it.
Corrigan misses inside as that hit J.C. Correa, and now Jace Vanderbrake will be the man at the plate. Vanderbrake on the season, 29 hits and 120 at-bats, batting .242, has 11 RBIs, has walked 11 times as well, and has struck out 25 times. Vanderbrake has 12 extra base hits as he takes the first pitch outside for a ball. 1-0. 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 home runs for Jace Vanderbrake in a lefty-friendly ballpark. Corrigan pitching from the stretch for the first time as he gets Vanderbrake to swing through. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Very important for Brady Corrigan to attack the strike zone. They want to save their bullpen guys for a little later in the game, so Brady going to need a strong 3-4 innings.
1-1 the count to Jace Vanderbrake. J.C. Correa was hit by a pitch. He's on first. Corrigan pitching from the stretch. And he's ready, the 1-1. Swung on and missed for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the designated hitter, Jace Vanderbrake.
Real nice changeup from Brady Corrigan, located perfectly, sort of high and away. That's a tough pitch to hit, especially at its off speed.
1-2 the count, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. No score between the Mat-Su Miners and the Anchorage Bucs. In a winner-take-all. The 1-2 from Corrigan. Checked his swing. Well, there'll be no check down. However, that'll be upstairs for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Corrigan looks into his catcher, Austin Pianarini, now over at first. He's right here on the stretch. And the pitch, the 2-2. Taken on the outside corner, strike 3 called. The tone has been set for this game. The Mat-Su Miners coming to the plate in the bottom of the first. When we return, it's the Miners come to the plate, Bucs. Nothing here in the top of the first inning. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Anchorage Bucs and Mat-Su Miners. Miners come to the plate for the first time today, and we'll run through their starting lineup. From Grand Canyon University, leading things off is Kona Quiggle. Out of UC Davis, batting second, Caleb Van Blake. The number 3 batter out of Oral Roberts University, a name we all know, Spencer Henson. Batting cleanup in the 4th spot out of Gonzaga University, Nick Brooks, his fellow teammate who just graduated this past spring. Nick Brooks, he bats 5th. Batting 6th, Josh Hatcher out of Mississippi State. Batting 7th, Tyler Bassetti from the University of Nevada, Reno. Batting 8th, Danny Wright out of Southeast Missouri. And batting 9th, to round things out, Drew Swift out of Arizona State on the mound. It's a new face for the Miners to see this season, Casey O'Sullivan out of San Diego State University. The Mat-Su Miners are managed by Ben Taylor, assistant coach Tyler Brunn, and pitching coach Jeff Erlab. The general manager of the Miners, Pete Christopher, assistant GM Bob Plunley. The first pitch has been thrown to Kona Quiggle, but it misses high. 1 ball and no strikes to start things off here in the bottom of the first inning.
What an atmosphere right now at Herman Brothers Field. Packed house and fans are still pouring in.
Swing and a miss from Quiggle there. 1 ball and 1 strike. And it's always a great place to play here at Herman Brothers Field for the Mat-Su Miners. They hold a home record of 16-5 as opposed to 2 games under on the road at 10-12. As this one's lined out into left field, they'll get down for a base hit. Quiggle rounding first. He'll take a look, but will hold as the left fielder Daniel Fredrickson has thrown the ball in. Ball went all the way to Jake Veith at first to try to tag Quiggle, but he's on the bag.
Big hit. Talk about momentum, getting it early. Kona Quiggle has sort of been struggling with the outside pitch, but it has worked on a lot in BP, and it showed.
Kona Quiggle, he's on first with the leadoff single. The first hit for the Mat-Su Miners in the game is now Caleb Van Blake steps into the plate. During this at-bat, we'll run through the defense for the Anchorage Bucs. Daniel Fredrickson, he's in left. Brennan Breaux in center. Logan Enos in right field, as now Casey O'Sullivan from the stretch. He pitches high and away to Caleb Van Blake. 1 ball, no strikes, and nobody out. In the infield, J.C. Correa's at third, Dimitri Calaccio at short, Willie Escala, man at second base, and Jake Veith at first. Casey O'Sullivan on the mound, and Jacob Castro behind the plate. Check over to Kona Quiggle at first. He's back head first sliding.
It was interesting. It seemed like Calaccio tried to almost one-up Danny Wright's throw as Kona Quiggle got a little excited rounding first, but he was well back in time. Calaccio almost threw it away. He has to be careful, not try to get too aggressive.
The 1-0 is taken high and away as well. Casey O'Sullivan has missed high and away to Caleb Van Blake 2 straight times, as the count is 2 balls and no strikes. There's still nobody away here in the bottom of the first inning with Kona Quiggle on first. It's an exciting atmosphere, as we've been talking about in the early parts of the broadcast. A lot of fans out here to witness some history as Van Blake takes a ball outside. 3 straight balls from Casey O'Sullivan after giving up a leadoff single.
And that would not be a start you would want if you're O'Sullivan. A leadoff single and then a walk on 4 straight pitches. Look to Van Blake to have the green light because you'd have to imagine this is going to be in the zone.
The 3-0 pitch from O'Sullivan is taken high and inside. 4 straight balls to Caleb Van Blake. He's on first with a walk. 2 first batters have reached base for the Miners, and now Spencer Henson comes to the plate.
And talk about pressure as if there wasn't enough already for O'Sullivan. You gave up the hit, a walk on 4 straight pitches, and now you're facing one of the best hitters in the ABL in Spencer Henson, who looks to get the momentum swing for the Miners going early.
Henson's kind of been on a downturn as of late, but still, the stats have been great. 48 hits in 142 at-bats, batting .338 on the season. Has 32 RBIs, walked 13 times, and has struck out 20. On-base percentage of .405 as the first pitch from O'Sullivan into Henson is swung on and missed for strike 1.
It's a big strike pitch from O'Sullivan to finally see somebody swing through a pitch. Going to give himself a confidence just a little bit.
Recap the inning so far. Kona Quiggle reached base on a leadoff single. He's on second, and Caleb Van Blake received 4 straight balls as he's on first with a walk. The 0-1 is delivered, swung on, ground ball over towards second baseman Willie Escala. The toss over to short is good, and the turn is also good. A 4-6-3 double play. Kona Quiggle moves from second to third. A runner is 90 feet away from scoring, but now there are 2 outs for Austin Pinarini.
That's a big pitch right there from Sullivan to ground into a double play. That relieves some pressure. But nevertheless, the Miners, their heart of the order just keeps coming at you with good bats, so he can't lay off focus yet.
For Henson, that's his 4th double play on the year that he's grounded into. And now Austin Pinarini, with 2 outs, stands in from the left side. First pitch from O'Sullivan is swung on and found straight back at the fence. 0-1. So that kind of takes the wind out of the sails for the Matsu Miners, but a run from 90 feet away from scoring.
Definitely, and every chance you have an opportunity to put a run on the board, especially this early in the game, you're going to go for it.
The 0-1 from O'Sullivan, line drive deep out into right field, falling fast and foul. Foul ball from James Purnell. That's clear foul as Matsu Miners bullpen picks it up and will toss it out into the stands. We'll run through the umpiring crew today. Josh Nolan's at third base, Brad Polk, the man behind the plate, and James Purnell, the first base umpire. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. No score, but Kona Quiggle, 90 feet away from scoring. He's at third. Casey O'Sullivan pitching from the stretch. It's a 0-2 count, and the pitch taken outside for ball 1. Infield of the Bucs thought that might have been strike 3, but home plate umpire Brad Polk said it's outside for ball 1. 1-2 the count.
Heck, Casey O'Sullivan took a few steps off the mound after that pitch, so he'll have to regather himself.
1-2, O'Sullivan pitching from the stretch. He deals to Pinarini high and away, almost over the glove of Jacob Castro. A ball gets to the fence. A run will score for the Miners, as the count has evened itself out at 2-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning.
And you definitely can't miss the Pinarini. He's come up clutch for the Miners numerous times, a veteran guy that loves to win.
2-2 the count. O'Sullivan's pitch taken inside for ball 3. O'Sullivan again a little frustrated with the strike zone from Brad Polk, but from up here it looked like that was well inside.
Yeah, definitely, and you never want to show up the umpire, especially twice to one at-bat, so it's going to be interesting to see where this ball is pitched and what the call is.
Pinarini has worked a full count, 3-2. The payoff pitch from O'Sullivan is swung on and poked out into foul territory along the left side, but that goes out of play. Pinarini stays in at the plate, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Nice job of swinging at that one. It's definitely near the plate, possible strike call, so nice job protecting from Austin Pinarini.
Count remains full to Pinarini here in the bottom of the first inning. Kona Quiggle's on third. Pinarini trying to drive him in. The 3-2 pitch taken high and away for ball 4. 2 walks in the inning for Casey O'Sullivan, but the Matsu Miners have yet to score a run. Runners are at the corners. Pinarini at first. Kona Quiggle is at third. Nick Brooks now walks up to the plate.
And it's odd, the Miners walk the least out of anyone in the league, whereas the Bucs, they walk the second amount of batters. So interesting to see that O'Sullivan having struggle finding the zone.
Casey O'Sullivan, as we mentioned during the pregame show, he no-hit the Chinooks, but he was not the final pitcher on record. Went 9 hitless innings until the 10th, where he was pulled, and the no-hitter was completed, but it was a combined effort. As Nick Brooks stands in, first pitch is high and inside to Brooks, and the Miners, they're not chasing anything off outside the plate.
No, they're not. And going back to the Bucs pitching, the Bucs, that is what has carried them really these past 12 games. They've won 11 of them. So you got to wonder when the steam's going to run out, as they have been doing a lot of chasing this last month of baseball. You got to wonder when the luck finally comes to an end.
The 1-0 is taken low and away for ball 2. Nick Brooks has worked a 2-ball and no strike count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. There's no score between the Miners and Bucs. Kona Quiggle led the inning off with a single. He stands on third. There was a double play in between. Spencer Henson grounding into it as Van Blake and Henson were out. And on first with a walk is Austin Pinarini. Has 3 straight balls to Nick Brooks. He doesn't look happy as he looks back into the grandstand here at Herman Brothers Field. 3 straight balls as the count is at 3-0.
And Nick Brooks is a guy that you do not want to make angry. He's a big guy and definitely has the power. So if there's something over the middle, expect him to swing at it.
We'll see if he gets anything to hit here. He won't swing, but it's good for a strike. 3-1 the count, and it was interesting to see if he was going to have the green light or not, but with 2 outs, he takes a smart move and watches it go by.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 3-0 count. You don't want to have a silly ground out or pop up with a 3-0 count, so definitely make him throw the strike.
Nick Brooks does have a home run on the season as the 3-1 is delivered, and this one is swung on and fouled straight back and out of play, and most likely into Alaskan State Fair property. Full count now with 2 outs. Austin Pinarini will be in motion. Kona Quiggle will hold on at third as there is nobody on second base for the Miners. Runners at the corners with Nick Brooks at the plate. Brooks trying to drive in the first run of the game. The payoff pitch swung on, line drive into center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Pinarini rounding second. He's heading for third. The throw will go to the third baseman, J.C. Correa, but standing on first with an RBI single is Nick Brooks. The Miners lead this game 1-0.
Brooks knows what it takes to win an ABL title. He was here last year and willing to propel his team now in front. A huge first inning right now for the Mat-Su Miners, and it all started in the top half of it with Danny Wright's throw out of Jake Veith after a single. Ever since then, the Miners have been riding an uphill wave, and let's see if they can keep it going.
It's a 2-out rally in the Valley. After a double play, the Miners, Austin Pinarini, he walked to reach base. Kona Quiggle was on third. Runners are at the corners for Nick Brooks, and he drives in Quiggle. Runners are at the corners again as Pinarini went from first to third on the play, and Nick Brooks remains at first base. It's the Miners 1, the Bucs 0.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
After a short break, we're back after the mound visit as Josh Hatcher now at the plate. He takes a first pitch called strike on the low outside corner for 0-1. Hatcher on the season batting .260, has 13 hits and 50 at-bats as he's now at the plate with runners at the corners with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. O'Sullivan's second pitch, ground ball right back up to O'Sullivan. The underhand toss to first is in time for the 3rd out. Hatcher not happy about it, but the Mat-Su Miners, they break the ice first here in the bottom of the first inning. Miners 1, Bucs 0. Game has progressed into the top of the second. Brady Corrigan trots out to the mound as he'll start things off in the second. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
Hi, I'm Brady Corrigan, right-handed pitcher from Arizona State, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the top of the second inning here at Herman Brothers Field. The Matsu Miners hold a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs, but the Bucs yesterday, they defeated the Chinooks after trailing 4-0 in the game, so it's going to be a tightly contested contest between the Miners and Bucs here today. Leading things off is Willie Escala. Escala, 239 batting average, 37 hits, and 155 at-bats. As the first pitch from Brady Corrigan is swung on and found straight back and out of play. 0-1 the count, and Corrigan just doing a nice job dealing through the first time through the lineup.
Yeah, he really is. It's important to set the tone for your Miners offense. That has been good all season long. So as long as Corrigan is dealing, the Miners should be in good shape.
The 0-1 is swung on, and this is a pop fly right to Josh Hatcher. He takes a couple steps in from the first base bag, and he secures it for the first out here on the top of the second.
Center fielder number 6, Brendan Rowe.
So a pop out to first is the first out here on the top of the second inning. Miners holding a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs, and now at the plate is Brennan Bro. It'll be Bro and Logan Enos. The remaining two due up as Bro first pitch swinging. He swings through a fastball from Brady Corrigan, 0-1. And again for Corrigan, 3.78 ERA on the season as he's working from the windup, and the pitch to Bro is swung on and a foul ball towards the left side. That one will go out of play. 0-2.
Yet to see, or rather we just have one Brady Corrigan strikeout so far in the game. Wouldn't be surprised to possibly see another one.
Corrigan from the windup, the 0-2. Taken high for ball one. Against the Anchorage Bucs for Brady Corrigan, he has appeared in 2 games and has received 2 no decisions. 5 runs allowed, only 3 earned as the 1-2 is swung on. Ground ball over to Van Blake. He has it on the backhand. The throw over in time for the second out here on the top of the second inning. First 2 batters have been retired by Brady Corrigan, as now Logan Enos will stand in.
Brady Corrigan, much like this Miners team for the second half of the season, has just been real steady all season long. We'll give you 4 or 5 innings, keep you in the game, much like the Miners have been ever since taking the lead in the ABL. They've been at the top for about 3 weeks now. Really no big streaks, losing or winning, just kind of minding their own and holding their own at the top.
Over the last 10, the Miners have gone 5-5, but for the Bucs, they've been faring a little bit better, 8-2 over the last 10.
Yeah, the Bucs have been the hot team as they've had to play from behind for most of the season, working their way into the second spot.
As the 0-1 is delivered, low and away for ball one. First pitcher swung on for a foul ball as the count is at 1-1, and check that for the Bucs. Over the last 10, 9-1, their only loss coming to the Matsu Miners as Corrigan misses high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And typically when you have really good pitching, at what the Bucs have had of recent, that'll lead to wins, so they definitely will look to ride it today.
A high fastball gets Logan Enos to swing through and chase as the count has gone even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 count swung on, line drive deep out into left center field. Kono-Quiggle ranging back into the gap. He'll make the call and the catch to put the top of the second to rest. Miners still hold a 1-0 lead as they'll come to the plate in the bottom of the second. It's the Miners 1, Bucs nothing, as you're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Baseball.
The Matsu Miners sent 6 to the plate in the bottom of the first inning, as now the bottom 3 will be due up for the Miners here in the bottom of the second inning. Tyler Bassetti, Danny Wright, and Drew Swift are all due up. Bassetti, batting .240 on the season, has 31 hits and 129 at-bats, 11 doubles, 1 triple, and 2 home runs. In an exhibition game yesterday against the Anchorage Adult All-Stars, he would have hit his third, as that was a deep shot into left field, but unfortunately that doesn't count for the season stats, as he'll hold off at 2 home runs. 13 RBIs for Bassetti, 21 walks, and has struck out 28 times, an on-base percentage of .355 as he watches the first pitch from O'Sullivan go in on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1.
Interesting to see how Casey O'Sullivan settles into the second inning after what was really a rough go of it in the first.
The 0-1 is swung on, hot shot over towards third base, but that will go foul, almost hitting the third base umpire Josh Nolan. Quick feet to get out of the way, as the count to Tyler Bassetti has gone to no balls and 2 strikes with nobody out here in the bottom of the second.
And that one was just a touch outside from hitting that right field line. That would have been a huge hit for Bozetti.
0-2 the count. O'Sullivan pitching to Tyler Bassetti. The pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. The first strikeout on the day for O'Sullivan. The first for Tyler Bassetti as well.
Now batting, your left fielder, number 7.
Danny Wright, who made an impressive play for the second out in the top of the first, will now stand in at the plate. And Danny throwing it on one hop all the way deep out near the 342 sign in left field to throw out Jake Veith, trying to turn a single into a double, as Danny Wright watches the first pitch from O'Sullivan go by for a ball.
And that's what's nice, having a good defense. You hold those extra base hits to typically singles for the most part, or getting out if a guy tries to extend it.
Second pitch misses low in the dirt and bounces away from the catcher Castro. 2 balls and no strikes. Danny Wright batting .260, has 27 hits and 104 at-bats, as a 2-0 is delivered and swung on and missed for strike 1, 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the count to Danny Wright. From the windup, O'Sullivan deals as this one is swung on and fouled off towards the left side. Chasing it down is J.C. Correa, but he'll watch it go near where the catchers squat down for the Bucs bullpen. No catcher was there in the area, but it hit the tarp right in that spot.
Interesting that J.C. Correa just sort of stopped going after the ball, thinking it may have went over the fence when you mentioned it landed right in that bullpen, so an opportunity to get it, that could come back to bite the Bucs.
The 2-2 count is check swing, but Danny Wright went around for strike 3. 2 straight strikeouts to start things off here on the bottom of the second inning. One to Tyler Bassetti, another one to Danny Wright, as now Drew Swift will stand in.
Casey O'Sullivan seems to be a lot more locked in than when he was in the first inning. I would imagine the nerves have settled down and just pitching like he knows how to.
O'Sullivan to Swift. First pitch is swung on and fouled off towards our right and out of play. For Swift on the season, batting .209, has 31 hits and 148 at-bats, 17 RBIs, 11 walks, and has struck out 25 times. As the 0-1 is delivered, taken on the inside corner for strike 2, it's 0-2.
And it's going to be important for this bottom half of the Miners order to help back up that strong top half with at least maybe getting a hit or try to work O'Sullivan.
0-2 count from O'Sullivan to Swift. He deals high and away for ball 1. Swift over the last 7 days, he has 3 hits and 14 at-bats, good for a .214 batting average, a little bit higher than his season average, as he was an all-star for the Miners this season. As he swings and fouls one straight down off the home plate, Jacob Castro will run over and pick it up. Count remains of 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Jacob Castro is lucky that didn't roll into fair territory, because that would have been a real tough play, as Swift does have a lot of quickness coming out of the box.
Drew Swift, of course, one of the fastest, if not the fastest, here in the Alaskan Baseball League, as a 1-2 swung on, and this is a drive deep out into left field. Running back is Daniel Fredrickson, and it is caught at the warning track. Drew Swift inches away from getting a home run, but Daniel Fredrickson right at the wall to make the catch. Probably the longest drive of the season for Drew Swift, as that was the third out to end things here in the bottom of the second inning. But the Mat-Su Miners still hold a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs as we're headed to the top of the third. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage.
Hi, I'm Brady Corrigan, right-handed pitcher from Arizona State, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Top of the third inning, Miners 1, Bucs nothing. Jacob Castro, Dimitri Calaccio, and Daniel Fredrickson all due up here in the bottom of the third. Castro batting a $118 as he'll stand in from the left side. Lefty bat, righty throw, as he's the catcher today. First pitch from the windup is swung on and found straight back. 0-1. Castro does have an RBI. Has walked 5 times and struck out 4 times. As Corrigan from the windup, he deals a breaking ball that misses just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Castro not seeing a lot of time behind the plate. 4 hits and 34 at-bats. As the 1-1 is swung on and missed for strike 2. Of those 4 hits, one of them was for a double for Castro. Has scored once. And has grounded into 3 double plays as he shoots this one deep out into right center field. Now get down for a base hit and maybe more. Kona Quiggle has it. The throw into second. Nobody's covering the bag as Josh Hatcher will move from first to second. Both shortstop Swift and the second baseman Caleb Van Blake were out in the outfield, shallow center field. It's a leadoff double for Jacob Castro here in the top of the third inning. And now Dimitri Calaccio standing in at the plate. Only the second double of the season for Castro.
Yeah, Castro had to step in big time for Troy Clonch, who's just sort of on, not necessarily concussion protocol, but out for precautionary reasons, but he stepped in big. He's played well the past few days.
First pitch into Calaccio is taken on the outside corner for a cold strike. A nice breaking ball from Brady Corrigan as Josh Hatcher's creeping in from first base in anticipation for a bunt on the grass is Tyler Bassetti. But he'll have to stay at third as Jacob Castro's on second base. Not a big lead from Castro as Swift danced behind him. The bunt will be laid down. Brady Corrigan's only play will be to first, and Caleb Van Blake will make the play at first base. It's a sacrifice bunt for Dimitri Calaccio as now the top of the order will come to the plate for the Anchorage Bucs, Daniel Fredrickson and Jake Veith.
Real nice bunt there from Dimitri Calaccio. Did his job. Slow tapper right up the middle. That's exactly what you want in a sacrifice. Eliminates the play at third, and all you can do is give yourself up.
So now for the first time, there's a runner in scoring position for the Anchorage Bucs. As Daniel Fredrickson, he grounded out to first base his last time up. It was a first unassisted as a first pitch from Brady Corrigan into Daniel Fredrickson misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes with 1 out here on the top of the third inning. It will be Fredrickson and Jake Veith. Veith had a long single, tried to stretch it into a double, but was thrown out by Danny Wright as this one is swung on and fouled off towards the left side. Count is evened up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you're Corrigan, you're definitely looking for a big strikeout right here. There's really no time for a ground ball because it'll be a tough play into home, so you really need to punch out.
1-1 the count to Daniel Fredrickson. From the stretch, Corrigan pitches. This one's hit a high shot into center field. Conaquigo is a couple steps behind it. The motion will take him to the plate. The throw, it's a good one to Austin Pinarini. The ball is not in time. Took a high hop. Austin Pinarini had to bring his glove up above his right shoulder and then down to try and tag Jacob Castro, but it was not in time. This ball game is tied up at 1 apiece. A sacrifice fly for Daniel Fredrickson gets the job done for the Anchorage Bucs. It's the Bucs 1, Miners 1 with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd inning, and Jake Veith at the plate. Jake Veith, who had that long single we were just talking about, tried to stretch into a double and was thrown out as he takes a high fastball from Brady Corrigan for ball 1. 1-0 the count with 2 outs, top of the 3rd. Bases are clear. Infield playing back. There's no shift against Veith here as he swings through this one and fouls it straight back at the fence. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Nice job for the Bucs to capitalize, and as the Miners sort of had the momentum going through the most part of those first 2 innings, they are trying to bring it back.
The 1-1 from Brady Corrigan is a breaking ball that misses inside, bends around Jake Veith, the left-handed batter. 2 balls and 1 strike. Should Veith continue the inning, on deck is J.C. Correa. As the 2-1 is delivered, taken just a bit high and outside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Veith always a tough out for the Miners. We saw it back in the first inning as Brady Corrigan got lucked out by Danny Wright with the nice throw.
3-1 the count with 2 outs. Corrigan's pitch swung on and missed by Jake Veith. Count is even, or count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Corrigan looking to get ready. Veith taking his time outside the box. From the windup, the payoff pitch taken high and away for ball 4. First walk allowed by Brady Corrigan. It's not a bad walk, as Jake Veith does lead the ABL with a batting average of .357 as he's on first. Veith not the most fleet of foot, as he does not have a stolen base yet, but on a pass ball he could always move over. J.C. Correa will stand in, as now the pitching coach Jeff Erlab will take a walk and a mound meeting.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. This is a tight ball game, a winner-take-all contest. You can't allow any more runs than really already the one that's come across. You're right back to a tie ball game, so it's going to be very important on how Corrigan pitches to Correa.
A big game indeed, as the Miners 26-17, a game up on the Anchorage Bucs at 25-18. Should the Bucs win today, the season records will be tied, but the season series record will not, as that's a tiebreaker criteria. If the Miners win, they win the Alaskan Baseball League regular season in the standings with a record of 27. As this one's a line drive out into left field, they'll get down for a base hit. Jake Veith only moves up to second base as Danny Wright, the throw into Swift, is on target. 1 pitch, 1 hit for J.C. Correa. He's reached base twice, first on a hit by pitch, second with a single. As now there are runners on first and second base with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd inning. 1 run is already in, and it looks like Josh Haley is warming up in the Miners bullpen.
And J.C. Correa is just really seeing the ball well this season against the Miners. That's now the 13th hit he's gotten against the Miners, so Corrigan will just have to forget about it and focus on the batter.
First pitch into Jace Vanderbreak's a breaking ball in for a called strike. 0-1. Brady Corrigan in the second inning went 1-2-3, but right now 6 batters have come to the plate, the 6th being Jace Vanderbreak. 0-1 the count. From the stretch, Corrigan's pitch hits the outside corner. Brady Corrigan quickly ahead on Jace Vanderbreak. No balls and 2 strikes, but there are 2 runners, 1 in scoring position. J.C. Correa at first, Jake Veith at second base. Infield is playing back with 2 outs. Outfield is straight away. Vanderbreak, 11 RBIs on the year, as he has a chance to score Jake Veith, as this one's fouled off towards the right side. Noah Cordova, the tallest pitcher in the Miners bullpen, has it, tosses it to a fan. as the count remains at no balls and 2 strikes to Jace Vanderbrake.
And for Corrigan, it's important what you're going to do, the batter after Ethan Crea and the batter before as well. So a chance with 2 outs to strike out Vanderbrake yet again. This would be very important.
The 0-2 pitch taken just outside for ball 1.
It's a nice spotted pitch from Corrigan, missing outside with a fastball, a tough pitch to hit, and if it's called strike 3, even better, but nevertheless, it was a good waste pitch.
1-2 the count with 2 outs, 2 runners on for the Anchorage Bucs here in the top of the 3rd. Ball game tied up at 1. Brady Corrigan's pitch is swung on, and this one's lifted out towards left field, but that goes foul. And it appears to have hit the vehicle shed along the left side and foul ground, out of play. 1-2 the count remains to Jace Vanderbrake.
And Corrigan really has Vanderbrake guessing. One foul ball went to the right side, this other one going to the left. So not quite sure what Corrigan's coming with, but good job of getting the bat on and protecting.
1-2 the count. The pitch taken inside for ball 2. Corrigan, this is the 6th batter that he is pitching to this inning, as he went 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first, 1, 2, 3 in the second, and now 1 through 6 here in the top of the 3rd inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. The pitch is swung on and just fouled off the end of the bat of Jace Vanderbrake. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is a really good at-bat right now from Vanderbrake. Not quite sure what Corrigan's coming with, but anytime the ball's near the zone, he's getting the lumber on it, and that's exactly what you want, especially out of your cleanup man, with a great chance for the Bucs to possibly take a lead here in this huge contest.
2-2 the count, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Top of the 3rd inning, Miners 1, Bucs 1. Corrigan looking to put the inning to rest. The 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Corrigan showing some emotion there, as he escapes more trouble here in the top of the 3rd inning. The Anchorage Bucs got one on a sacrifice fly from Daniel Fredrickson as they tied up this ball game as we're heading to the bottom of the 3rd. 1-1 the score as you're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
Hi guys, Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Number 24, Kona.
Bottom of the 3rd inning, leadoff man Kona Quiggle will stand in. Quiggle got things started in the top of the 1st inning with a single. He came around to score the only run for the Matsu Miners so far, as this ball game is tied up between the Miners and Bucs at 1 apiece. Quiggle scored on a RBI single from Nick Brooks in the bottom of the 1st. As now O'Sullivan pitches from the windup into Quiggle. He misses high for ball 1.
And it's important for Kona to try to get started much like he did back in the 1st inning. Try to get on in any way possible.
The 1-0 is swung on. Deep drive out into left field. Taking a couple steps back and eyeing it up with a one-hand grab is Daniel Fredrickson for the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. A fly ball to left for the first out, and now Caleb Van Blake standing in at the plate. What we were about to say for Kona Quiggle, one of the best hitters against the Anchorage Bucs so far this season, has 11 hits and 36 at-bats, good for a .306 average against the Bucs, and that's his season average as well at .306 coming into the day. Van Blake now stands in. Van Blake, he walked in his first at-bat from O'Sullivan, took 4 straight pitches for ball 4 as he swings through this one and fouls it straight back, 0-1.
And it's important for Van Blake to hopefully get back on the hit train. Has been struggling of late, but the 2 off days of exhibition games could be what Caleb Van Blake needed in order to rest and get his mind right.
Van Blake, 0-1 the count from O'Sullivan to Caleb is swung on and missed. O'Sullivan now settling into a groove as he went 1-2-3 in the second, retires Conequiggle on a fly ball, and now is ahead of Caleb Van Blake. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The pitch is swung on, a half-hearted swing. The ball was in the dirt, and then the tag out from Jacob Castro for the 2nd out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Three pitches for the out for O'Sullivan.
And O'Sullivan, nice back-to-back breaking balls that started on the lower portion of the plate and then dove to the dirt. Those are tough to hit and look good at first, but then as you're swinging through, you realized maybe a mistake.
Spencer Henson, who hit a hard ground ball to second base his last time up. Unfortunately, it was for a 4-6-3 double play, as now he faces O'Sullivan for the 2nd time as this one bounces off the protecting gear of the catcher Jacob Castro and over near the Miners dugout. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 outs to Spencer Henson. And for Spencer, still trying to find that elusive back-to-back triple crown. It's something hard to do in baseball as he swings and grounds it over towards the manager Ben Taylor at 3rd. That will go foul. 1 ball and 1 strike from O'Sullivan to Spencer Henson.
And Henson, along with hitting so well this season, has also been a great team leader, really willing the guys, especially when he's at first in tough situations, willing to talk to his pitcher and calm him down.
The 1-1 swung on. This one's lined deep out into right field, moving back and over near the warning track is Logan Enos. A good ball off the bat of Spencer Henson, just didn't get enough under it to get it out. But it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Mat-Su Miners to end the bottom of the 3rd as we're heading to the top of the 4th. We'll throw it over to my partner on the right side, Brad Walker, for the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Brady Corrigan, right-handed pitcher from Arizona State, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Welcome back into Herman Brothers Field, the site of the ABL regular season title game, and currently this contest is all tied up at 1 between the Anchorage Bucs and the Mat-Su Miners, as the Miners are retired in 1-2-3 fashion in back-to-back innings. The Bucs scoring their lone run in the top of the 3rd inning, where the Miners in the bottom of the 1st scored theirs. Escala, Bro, and Enos are due up for the Anchorage Bucs. Escala so far tonight is 0 for 1 as he flew out in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. The second baseman from the University of Miami in Florida, also from Miami, Florida as well. Brady Corrigan still on the mound for his 4th inning of work. He winds and deals. The first pitch of the 4th inning is a breaking ball that had Escala well out in front of it. So Escala comes into tonight. He's reached base in his past 6 games, so he looks to extend that streak as he launches one foul and off to the left side. So Corrigan ahead in the count 0-2 with nobody out in the top of the 4th inning. The Bucs only 1 short game behind the Miners, and they would win the tiebreaker as currently the season series sits at 5-5. So Corrigan looks in his 0-2 pitch. This misses just low. A nice block from Austin Pinerini. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Willie Escala, the right-handed hitting second baseman, who came into tonight with 37 hits, a nice .310 on-base percentage. So Corrigan, his 1-2 is tapped foul right behind Escala in the right-handed batting box. Count will stay at 1-2. The Bucs, they've won the past 2 out of 3 games in the season series, but the Miners, they have the momentum at home this year. They're 3-1 against the Bucs here at Herman Brothers Field. Corrigan's 1-2 is a fastball swung on and missed by Willie Escala. Brady Corrigan with his 3rd strikeout of the night. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Mr. Corrigan, as it'll bring up Brennan Bro, the center fielder from the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Bro bats left-handed, throws left-handed as well. Bro coming off an 0 last night, where against the Chinooks he went 0 for 3, but did have an RBI as he was hit by a pitch as well. As the bases were loaded, got hit by a pitch, it drove in a run. So hence, give him a run batted in. As Corrigan nails the lower inside corner to the left-handed hitting Bro. He's ahead in the count 0-1. 1 out, top of the 4th inning. Bucs and Miners are all tied up at 1 here in this ABL regular season title game. Corrigan misses low and away with a fastball. The count is now 1-1. Bro grounded out to second, back in the 2nd inning, as that was a 2nd out as well. That's Corrigan's 1-1 pitch. Nice breaking ball, but Pinarini had to scoop some dirt up trying to get that one as the count heads to 2-1.
Tough to try to get that call when there's a little dirt in the glove.
As it's spiraling up in front of home plate umpire Brad Polk's face. Nevertheless, Corrigan working from the wind as this one is shot into right field, down the right field line, but slicing foul. So Corrigan will move the count to 2-2 on Brennan Bro. Bro has struck out 32 times this season, as Corrigan has retired the past 2 Bucs batters he's faced via the strikeout. As Josh Haley is up and warming up in the Miners' pen yet again. And a lot of guys available. Haley is available today, Asa Lacini and Churchill as well, so if they need those guys, they'll definitely be expecting of them. Nevertheless, the count is 2-2. Brady Corrigan looks in for his sign, winds, deals. This misses low with a fastball. The count will be worked full by Brennan Bro, 3-2. With 1 out, Bro has walked 22 times this year as well. But Corrigan, his pitch. This one is popped in the air to deep left field. Moving back is Danny Wright at the warning track and makes the catch while backpedaling for out number 2. A nice defensive play yet again from Danny Wright for the 2nd out in the top of the 4th inning, as we're all tied up at 1.
And for Danny Wright, just good jump off the bat, trying to get back, and then when he thought he was in the position that the ball was going to land, it tailed off on him and just keep on moving back. So it did a nice job staying with the play.
As the switch hitter, Logan Enos steps up to the dish from the left side. He hits a warm burner over to second base, moving to his left, gathering, throwing in time for out number 3 is the second baseman, Caleb Van Blake, as Brady Corrigan retires the Anchorage Bucs in order for the 2nd time this evening, as this ABL regular season title game is all tied up at 1 as we head into the home half of the 4th inning on Mat-Su Miners Radio. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm Josh Haley, left-handed pitcher from the University of Arizona, and you're listening to Mat-Su Minor Radio.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Bucs and Miners all tied up at 1 as Casey Sullivan still works on the mound, the right-hander from San Diego State University. He'll be facing Pinarini, Brooks, and Josh Hatcher, the 4, 5, 6 batters for the Mat-Su Miners. Pinarini steps up to the dish from the left side. He is 0 for 0 tonight as he reached on a walk back in the 1st inning. In that 1st inning where the Miners scored their only run. This game's tied up at 1 and tied up in the head count as well at 2. And also in the season series tied up at 5 between the Bucs and Miners. So a lot at stake today, especially that elusive regular season ABL title. More importantly, home field advantage in the playoffs. As Pinarini skies this one to the left side, J.C. Correa in pursuit, but he'll be stopped by the fence as it heads into the wonderful crowd here at Herman Brothers Field today. Count is 0-1 to Austin Pinarini. Packed house, people still pouring in slowly but surely as it's MTA Fan Appreciation Night at the ballpark. Admission was free, so all the Miner fans more than happy to come support their home team, and hopefully they can win this ABL title in front of the home crowd. Casey Sullivan, a nice breaking ball that hits the outside portion of the strike zone to Austin Pinarini, who back on July 26th against the Bucs went 0 for 3 for his 12th no-hit game of the season. So he looks to turn that around today as he takes a hack at this one but fouls it back over us here in the press box. We'll stay at an 0-2 count to the leadoff batter, Austin Pinarini.
And for the Miners, they just have to work those deep counts and try to get to the Bucs bullpen early here today to be successful.
Casey Sullivan from the wind, his 0-2. This one is hit high in the air into shallow center field, rather right field, near the line. Making the catch all the way over from second base is Willie Escala for out number 1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Nick Brooks, who has the only RBI of the day for the Miners. He drove in that lone run back in the 1st inning thanks to an RBI single, which was really a nice line drive from Brooksy as he worked a 3-0 count and then on a 3-1 pitch drove it right up the gut. So Brooks now with 7 RBIs on the season, as that was his first against the Bucs, and now is 3 of 13 against Anchorage. Nevertheless, the first pitch into Nick Brooks. This misses well inside, almost hits Nick Brooks on the belt. The count will go to 1-0. Brooks with 12 hits now this season tries to raise that .256 batting average, as that was his first hit in 5 at-bats, as he was struggling just a bit from the dish, but nevertheless trying to turn around in a big moment in the ABL title game. This 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball that misses low and away. Castro had to sort of make the scoop in the dirt as the count goes to 2-0. Mentioned Jacob Castro filling in for Troy Clinch, who got hit in the head last week when facing the Miners, and he's been out for precautionary measures over the past week. As O'Sullivan misses high and in, he yet again has fallen behind in the count 3-0 to Nick Brooks. With 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning, Bucs and Miners are tied at 1.
Well, as big as the loss as Troy Clouch is to the team, they still are 9-1 over the last 10. So the production and results have been the same.
Nick Brooks has an inside pitch that he gets the barrel on, but shoots it well in the air over to the shortstop side as Dimitri Calaccio makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 infield pop flies for the first 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 4th inning, rather. He was in F6. Threw me off a little bit. Josh Hatcher will step up to the dish. He grounded right back to the pitcher, a hard shot, as he was sort of disappointed in himself, couldn't place it any better. But he'll step up from the left side. He's first pitch swinging, fouls it off to the left side and out of play. So Casey O'Sullivan, we mentioned, pitched 9 innings of that team no-hitter for the Bucs, but unfortunately was not in credit to his name, as he misses inside to Hatcher, who kind of had to hop out of the way of it. 1-0. O'Sullivan, in his last start against the Pilots, he went 6 innings, was the winning pitcher, as that was a shutout effort, only allowing 3 hits with 8 strikeouts. As he delivers a strike on the outer portion of the plate, 1-1. O'Sullivan, count is now 1-2 rather. Scoreboard a bit behind here at Herman Brothers Field. Nevertheless, Sullivan looking in. He's trying to retire the side for the 3rd straight inning. His pitch. Hatcher, this goes right up the middle again, but O'Sullivan won't get a glove on it, and Josh Hatcher is aboard with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. That's the first hit now for the Mat-Su Miners in 8 batters.
Well, just a nice job by Josh Hatcher staying in the count. He's behind 1-2. Just looks to put a good barrel on the ball, and he's able to do so and lines it right up the middle.
As Tyler Bozetti will now step up to the plate from the right side with a possible go-ahead runner on first base in Josh Hatcher. The Miners are the best scoring team in the league with 202 runs, now 203, which is 9 less than last year's total, which sits at 212. So the first pitch to Tyler Bozetti is a strike on the lower portion of the plate, 0-1. So Casey O'Sullivan, who basically went untouched in the 2nd, 3rd, and for the most part of this 4th inning, has just allowed a hit. So he's working from the stretch, much like he had to do back in the first inning. From his chest, his 0-1 pitch. This is swung on and missed. Castro's snap throw down to first. It's not in time, but Tyler Bozzetti has fallen behind in the count, 0-2, as he struck out back in the second inning. That's Bozzetti's 29th strikeout of the season, and now has 5 in the past 5 days. So he'll top the plate, a righty-on-righty matchup with an 0-2 count, 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. O'Sullivan, deep breath, now motions to the plate. He'll miss outside with a fastball. The count goes 1-2. The Miners now with their 3rd hit of the ball game. They also lead the league in batting average with a .255 mark. But facing a Bucs pitching staff that has been pretty good of late, a 2.17 ERA as a team in the past 7 days. Bozzetti's 1-2. This is shot into deep left center field. Fredrickson moving back at the track and makes the catch for out number 3. A loud out from Tyler Bozzetti ends the 4th inning as we'll stay tied at 1 here in this ABL regular season title game in Palmer. We'll be right back on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Brady Corrigan, right-handed pitcher from Arizona State, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
All tied up at 1 as we enter the 5th inning of the ABL regular season title game. Also fighting for the first seeders, both of these teams in the Miners and the Bucs, as first seed would mean home field advantage for the entirety of the playoffs. And if you are unfamiliar with how the ABL playoffs work, every single game in a playoff series is played at the home field advantage's place. So if the Miners get it, they'll play every single playoff game at Herman Brothers Field. Corrigan, his first pitch of the 5th inning is a soft liner over to Drew Swift, who takes a short step back to make the catch for out number 1. So Jacob Castro is sit down to begin this 5th inning. And that'll bring up Dimitri Calaccio, the right-handed hitting shortstop, who had a nice sacrifice bunt back in the 3rd inning, which proved to be vital as it moved Jacob Castro over to 3rd and then allowed him to come in to score thanks to a sac fly from Daniel Fredrickson, as that is how the game is tied at 1. As Calaccio, he gets a hold of one in the left field, but Danny Wright will make the catch around the warning track for out number 2. So 2 pitches and 2 outs right now for Brady Corrigan, as he has tied his longest start of the season, as that longest start was the last start indeed for Mr. Corrigan, which happened on July 23rd against this Bucs team, which he went 5 2/3, allowed 2 runs. None of them were earned, as it looks like he'll tie it as well this game as skipper Ben Taylor makes a visit to the mound. There is a pitcher up in the pen for the Miners. Josh Haley still warming up. Would have to imagine that Brady Corrigan's day is over with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Looks like there has been a motion to the bullpen, and Brady Corrigan will exit this ball game. We're tied up at 1 between the Bucs and the Miners. We'll introduce the new pitcher when we come back on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
I'm Josh Haley, left-handed pitcher from the University of Arizona, and you're listening to Matsu Minor Radio.
New pitcher for the Matsu Miners is the southpaw from the University of Arizona, Josh Haley. Haley comes into this ball game with 10 appearances under his belt. 7 of them have been starts, has a 3-1 record and 50 innings pitched, a 2.52 ERA, but not necessarily unfamiliar to this relief work, as the last time we saw Haley on the mound, he went 1 inning of just 1 run allowed, which was unearned on July 26th against the Bucs in the Miners' last regular season game. So he comes in with the game tied up at 1 between the Bucs and the Miners. The Bucs only trailing the Miners by 1 game in the ABL, and the tiebreaker will come down to the season series, which if the Bucs do win today, they will have that 6-5. But if the Miners win, they guarantee clinch home field advantage and also win the series 6-5. So Daniel Fredrickson, who had the sacrifice fly back in the 3rd inning for the Bucs' only run, steps up to the dish with 2 outs, and that'll be the first batter Josh Haley will face. So he works from the wind. Looking to bunt is Fredrickson, but it goes right back to Haley, who comes off the mound to make a nice play. So 3 pitches is all that's needed in the 5th inning between Brady Corrigan and Josh Haley to retire the Bucs in order. We're all tied up at 1 as we head into the bottom of the 5th inning on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Freedom. Underage drinking.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
A 3-pitch top of the 5th inning as Brady Corrigan threw the first 2 and Josh Haley threw the last one to set the Bucs down 1-2-3 as this ball game is all squared up at 1. We expected a good game between the Bucs and Miners, as this is the regular season ABL title game, and it is definitely pulled through that way. Only 1 run apiece between both teams. The Miners do have the lead in the hit category 3-2. As Danny Wright begins the bottom of the 5th inning, he looks to bunt but pulls it back as a fastball from Casey O'Sullivan misses low and away. O'Sullivan, 1-0 count, his pitch. This one a line shot over to second base. Escala has trouble with it. It'll get by him and roll into right field as Danny Wright is on with the single over into right field.
Kind of an Olay type of play coming out of Willie Escala, as that went right under his glove, but if he doesn't hit the ball, it's good for a hit.
Yeah, and it was a tough play from Escala, as that was really a hot shot off the bat of Danny Wright, but nevertheless, he is now 1 for 2 on the day, and the Miners get their leadoff man on for only the 2nd time this evening, as Drew Swift stands in from the right side of the batter's box. The shortstop from Arizona State, he's looking to bunt as this one goes right down the first base line, as he'll actually stop to make Sullivan work for the out, as that's actually a pretty smart play as Sullivan tags him out, possibly giving Wright a chance to move over to third, but Wright making the smart decision to stay on second. Nevertheless, out of all that, Drew Swift with a sacrifice bunt moves Danny Wright over to second.
Yeah, just going back to the bunt, Drew Swift, that ball kind of rose in and towards his body and did a nice job adjusting the bat and really laying down the bunt towards the first base side. The great bunting job from Swift, and let's see what Conequiggle can do.
It really is. Anytime you can help your teammate out, whether it's through a hit, sack, bunt, or defense, they're definitely going to be exciting. As Conequiggle is first pitch swinging, this foul ball goes off the inside ankle, the right ankle, as Conequiggle is a left-handed batter, so he'll have to shake it off a bit. He does wear that ankle pad, but I think it got in right where it wasn't. And that's always a toughie to walk off, so Quiggle will take his time before stepping back in left-hander's batter box. So the count's 0-1, one down, bottom of the 5th inning. The Miners with a runner in scoring position as this game's all tied up at 1. Kona Quiggle does have a hit tonight. He led off the 1st inning with a hit and then flew out back in the 3rd. So the 0-1 to Quiggle is a nice breaking pitch that nails the outside portion of the strike zone. 0-2. Danny Wright got the bottom of the 5th inning going with a single for the Miners' 4th hit of the ball game. So O'Sullivan working out of the stretch. This is the 3rd time he's done so in 5 innings of work. Comes set from his chest, takes a look at second, now goes to the plate. Kona Quiggle waits on it and then hits a ground ball over to short. Calaccio comes set, throws in time for out number 2. That'll bring up Caleb Van Blake with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Danny Wright still standing on second base. The Miners would not like to leave a runner on second as runs have come at a premium in this ball game. As the Miners scored in the bottom of the 1st inning, Bucs in the top of the 3rd. There's been a lot of good pitching, much like we've seen a lot in this series. The starters really coming out to play. And got a tip of the cap to Brady Corrigan for the Miners to have a good start as well. As O'Sullivan misses just outside to Caleb Van Blake, 1-0. Van Blake 0 for 1 tonight, reached in the 1st on a walk, and then struck out back in the 3rd inning. Van Blake, who came into this game only 3 of 23 against the Bucs, but did have 3 RBIs. So he stands in from the left side. O'Sullivan kicks, deals, as Caleb Van Blake lifts his arms on the inside pitch and looks at it for a ball. 2-0. Mentioned Danny Wright on second, as Van Blake has not struck out in the past 2 games coming into this evening. Has unfortunately ended that streak with the strikeout in his last at-bat. Nevertheless, looks for a big hit right now, as he does have 14 RBIs on the season. So Sullivan checks second. Once, now twice, now goes to the plate. He misses well outside. Castro did a nice job of putting out the leather with an extended arm, but has thrown 3 straight balls to Caleb Van Blake. And Connor, in the 1st inning, Van Blake walked on 4 straight pitches, looking to do the same thing right now.
Yeah, for Van Blake, I don't expect him to get the green light with the count at 3-0. Take your pitch, continue the inning, get Spencer Henson to the plate.
O'Sullivan is 3-0. This misses well outside. Caleb Van Blake, for the 2nd time tonight, walks on 4 pitches, as that is now the 3rd walk issued by Casey O'Sullivan, who came in tonight only 16 walks, now 19, opposed to his 37 strikeouts. But that does bring up the bat in Spencer Henson with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Runners on 1st and 2nd for the Miners. They have a chance to take the lead as this game's tied up at 1 in the ABL regular season title game. Henson, the designated hitter today, batting 3rd, steps in from the right side, so righty-on-righty matchup between O'Sullivan and Henson. Henson, unfortunately, 0 for 2 tonight, but we've seen him come through in big moments for the Miners before. This would be one. First pitch into Henson's, lined right up the middle, originally taking a step in is Bro, but then has to track backwards where he rises up to make the catch for out number 3. So an exciting 3rd out. That's back-to-back innings. The Miners have gone down that way. Nevertheless, we're tied up at 1 as we head into the 6th inning on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
Hi, I'm Josh Haley, left-handed pitcher from the University of Arizona, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miner Radio.
Josh Haley on in the 6th inning to continue his relief appearance, the left-handed pitcher from the University of Arizona. As this game is tied up at 1, between the Bucs and the Miners, the top two teams in the ABL. This game will determine the regular season title and the first seed in the playoffs, which we know is highly coveted. Both teams playing very well at home this season. For the Bucs, 16-16, and for the Miners, 16-5. We'll go through Brady Corrigan's stat line. We would have went through it last inning, but Josh Haley only had to pitch one pitch to get out of that fifth inning, as it was a three-pitch fifth inning for the Miners staff. Corrigan went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run, which was earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So nice performance from Brady Corrigan. A big performance to go a solid 5 2/3 to give the Miners a great fighting chance at this ball game. Jake Veith, J.C. Correa, and Jace Vandenbrake all due up for the Bucs, which has been known to be the most dangerous part of this Anchorage order. First pitch to Veith has him well in front of it, 0-1. A small shift on for Veith. Bozzetti moves over near the shortstop hole as Drew Swift is just to a left and adjacent of the second base bag, and every other position is the same. Outfield shifted a bit over to the right and a few steps back as Josh Haley misses low and away with this breaking ball in the dirt, 1-1. Jake Veith today is 1 for 1 with a single and then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double in the first inning. Then in the third, he walked. He looks at a fastball, then misses low and away from Josh Haley, 2-1, as this will be the first time Veith will see a lefty for the Miners. Brady Corrigan, obviously the right-handed guy. So Haley from the wind has Jake Veith tapping this one foul. The count is 2-2, so Josh Haley trying to retire Jake Veith for his first strikeout tonight. Veith on the season has only struck out 31 times, opposed to 21 walks. So Haley, his 2-2. This one's tapped over to third base. Bozzetti has to cover a lot of ground. The quick throw gets by Josh Hatcher at first as he rolls all the way to the wall. Austin Pinerini was in the vicinity, so he'll be able to get over there and gather it quickly without Veith advancing. So what would have been a tough play from Tyler Bozzetti goes down as an infield single for Jake Veith. And I tell you what, being shifted over like Bozzetti was, Connor, that's really hard to range over and then try to make the quick transition into the throw.
Of course, it's a difficult play to make, and again, he's the only guy along the left side of the field, so he's the only guy who could have made that play, and just tough play.
So the third hit of the day for the Bucs goes to an infield single from Jake Veith. That gives him 47 on the season as J.C. Correa looks to bunt, but he pulls it back, and it's a strike called by Brad Polk on the outside portion of the plate. Wide-eyed looking back was J.C. Correa with his mouth wide open, so he'll have to pick up his jaw from the turf and step back in the box. The 0-1 pitch, this one's lined right in the hole of short and third. It rolls all the way into left field where Danny Wright collects it, and back-to-back hits gives the Anchorage Bucs runners on first and second in the top of the sixth inning. This game is tied up at 1. As Josh Haley will have to take a deep breath almost because, you know, that's been the toughest part of the Bucs order. Veith and Correa, they're a great 1-2 punch. They've got on and every single time in this ball game in their 3 at-bats. But Jace Vandenbrake hasn't been much help in the cleanup spot. He's 0 for 2 tonight with 2 strikeouts. As there will be a mound meeting between Austin Pinerini, the catcher, the shortstop Drew Swift, and obviously the pitcher Josh Haley. So that meeting will be adjourned. Looks like the corners will come in. Middle infield still playing a bit towards double play depth. Would have to imagine Vandenbrake will lay down a bunt to try to get runners in second and third. But hey, I'll have to position it well if he does so because there's a force out at third. As Haley kicks and then spins around to check Jake Veith back. Never a bad idea to keep a guy close. That is most likely going to try to move on a sacrifice. As we are tied in the hit count, 4-4. Also in the run count, 1-1. Haley's first pitch into Vandenbrake. He tried to bunt, went down to it, and they said he did not go, which is questionable. It seemed like Vandenbrake pulled it away as Pinerini was catching it. Nevertheless, the umpires have a better view than we do up here in the booth. So the count goes 1-0.
This is a big moment for Josh Haley now with nobody out and 2 runners on. He has to get these next 3 outs.
As the 1-0 pitch misses outside, the count goes 2-0. As Jace Vandenbrake, with those 2 strikeouts on the season, has now struck out 27 times, as he's been pretty hot with a hit in every other game in the past 5. So a hit in 3 of 5. Nevertheless, he sits at a 2-0 count. Haley comes set from the torso, winds and deals. This pitch is in the dirt. Jace Vandenbrake has worked a 3-0 count after putting out a bunt attempt in all 3 pitches.
Well, last thing you want to do is walk a guy who's been showing bunt the whole time. I get you want to nitpick around the zone and try to get it in a position where maybe he bunts the ball up or it's not a productive out, but still you got to go in and throw strikes.
So this 3-0 is just looked at for a strike by Vandenbrake. It seemed like he lifted the bat, willing for the ball to come in the zone, almost making Josh Haley throw more than 1 strike in a row.
And exactly what we were talking about. Just go in, throw strikes. If he gets the bunt down, work towards the next batter.
So Haley comes set from the stretch. His 3-1 into Jace Vandenbrake. This one's bunted right up the middle. Josh Haley, his only play will be to first. A nice throw indeed for out number 1 here in the top of the 6th inning. Now there is runners moved over to second and third, but it has to feel good to finally get that first out.
Well, you get the first out and you work from there. You try to get Willie Escala to get out and then deal with Brennan Bro.
So a nice sack bunt from Jace Vandenbrake as he's gone down in all 3 plate appearances, as Jeff Erlab will now make the mound visit, the pitching coach for the Mat-Su Miners. As the Bucs, they have runners on second and third with only 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. This game is tied at 1 apiece in the ABL regular season title game, as Willie Escala will be stepping up to the dish, and this part of the Bucs order has not been real productive, as they are a combined 0 for 6 in their total of 2 at-bats. So Escala looks to deliver big. He does have 14 RBIs on the season, but the Miners trying to hold within their own, as the pitching for the Miners, only a 4.13 ERA in the past 7 days, as they've fallen behind in the ERA total count in the ABL to the Bucs. They sit second at a 2.96 clip, whereas the Bucs sitting at 2.37. So the Miners' bats will definitely look to help out the pitching a bit, or vice versa. Nevertheless, all cylinders will need to be working to get the win today.
Well, of course, the game where the Bucs defeated the Miners 12-0 really didn't help for ERA at all.
No.
I mean, it helped the Bucs bring it down to the 2.3, and for the Miners, just brought it up to the 2.9.
So it looks like the meeting's adjourned. We're ready to play. The infield corners are in. Middle infield still playing back for the right-handed hitting Willie Escala with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Runners on second and third. Haley's first pitch, breaking ball, just misses outside. 1-0. Mentioned Escala 0 for 2 tonight. It flew out in his first at-bat and then struck out back in the 4th inning, as that's the 40th time he's done so this season, as he takes a breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. Escala now striking out 6 times in the past 3 games. So really struggling from the dish, as he struck out twice last night against the Chinooks in an 0 for 4 outing. This 1-1 pitch misses away, but Austin Pinarini did a good job of leaving it in the dirt and only getting away from him a little bit, but not enough for Jake Veith to come in to score.
And again, there's no help for Pinarini back there. No one can back him up. He has to be the brick wall that he's been all season long and make sure that these runs don't come across.
So it seemed like Drew Swift does take a few steps in. Van Blake's still back at second. His count is 2-1 to Willie Escala with runners on second and third. Haley's pitch has Escala well out in front of it. 2-2 with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Nice breaking pitch from Josh Haley. That's where he's gotten the 2 strikes in this at-bat. Going to be interesting to see what pitch he decides to deal here. He comes set from his torso. His 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. A big second out due to a strikeout thanks to Josh Haley. Haley now with his 42nd strikeout of the season. Came into tonight 5th in the ABL in that category, as his day will now come to an end after getting a strikeout of Willie Escala. So Ben Taylor will make a visit to the mound. I would have to imagine that since this is the second visit, it will be a replacement visit. So he takes a stroll, chatting with Haley. The infield comes in. There's been no signal just yet. So we're waiting and waiting. I would have to imagine that we'll have to see a new pitcher, and we will. So we'll have a left-handed pitcher. It looks like Asa Lacey will be coming into the game. Rather, Ian Churchill. Why don't we just go to break? Tied at 1 between the Bucs and Miners in the ABL regular season title game. We'll be right back on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill comes out of the bullpen, so the third straight starter that's listed on the roster for the Miners, as it seems like they're going to bet the house today in this regular season title game, trying to get that first place seed. He comes in to relieve Josh Haley, who went an inning pitched, gave up 2 hits. So far is not allowed to run, but the runners on second and third are his responsibility. Did not walk anyone and struck out 1 as well. So the score is tied up at 1 between the Bucs and the Miners, as Brennan Breaux steps up to the plate following Willie Escala's swinging strikeout for the second out in the top of the 6th inning. Ian Churchill, the left-handed pitcher from Santa Barbara City College and also from Santa Barbara, California, has appeared in 8 games this season, 5 of them starts, and in 38 1/3 innings pitched has a league-leading 6 wins to no losses and a 1.64 ERA. So he'll have to work out of the stretch with the runners on second and third. Facing the left-handed hitting Breaux. Breaux tonight is 0 for 2, but a chance to possibly give the Bucs the lead, so we're tied at 1. Churchill looks in. His first pitch has Breaux tapping this one over to second. Moving in and over to his left is Caleb Van Blake. So 1 pitch and 1 out is all Ian Churchill needs to end the top of the 6th inning and to end the threat of the Anchorage Bucs as they leave 2 on in this visiting half of the 6th inning. We'll head into the bottom of the 6th, tied up at 1 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Caleb Van Blake, infielder from UC Davis, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Welcome back into the bottom of the 6th inning of the ABL regular season title game. Both teams also playing for the first seed in the playoffs and home field advantage throughout the entirety of the playoffs. It's the Bucs 1, Miners 1 in the home half of the 6th. Pinarini, Nick Brooks, and Josh Hatcher are due up as the Miners bullpen just finished their tradition of dancing to the Cupid Shuffle, in which they do in between the top of the and bottom of the 6th innings. So gives the fans a nice little show. Wonderful crowd on hand. Would have to imagine it's over 1,200 strong. We will get the official number for you towards the end of the broadcast. But Pinarini stands in from the left side as he faced Casey O'Sullivan out for his 6th inning of work. O'Sullivan has pitched very well today after allowing a run in the first inning. Has only allowed 2 hits since, and that is it. No runs at all. First pitch to Pinarini. He pops this one into left field, slicing into the glove of Daniel Fredrickson as he makes a few steps in for out number 1. So Pinarini is retired on 1 pitch, as that's all Ian Churchill needed to end the top threat of the 6th inning, where the Bucs, they had runners on second and third with only 1 out, but some nice pitching from Josh Haley and then a relief of Ian Churchill to get out of that jam.
Just tremendous pitching from the Miners pitching staff. The starters are getting the job done, and I think we overheard manager Ben Taylor say, use the starters to get to the bullpen. It'll be interesting to see what inning the bullpen will start to come in and if the Miners will have a lead.
As Nick Brooks flies this one foul and out of play. 0-1's the count with 1 out. So Brooks, he is 1 for 2 today. Had that RBI single back in the first, but then flew out in the fourth as we're tied up at 1. As Casey O'Sullivan is pitching very well, as he has now not allowed a run in his past 21 in a third innings pitched. Rather, just 1 run, I should mention, in the first inning. That streak was broken up. So the count moves to 1-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Brooks, who against the Bucs this year, only 2 of 12, now 3 of 14, fouls this one off. The count moves to 1-2. The Miners, who are 16-5 at home and 26-17 overall, trying to work towards that 3rd straight ABL title, but it starts right now trying to get the regular season title first in order to ensure home field advantage throughout the entirety of the playoffs. But O'Sullivan ahead in the count, 1-2. Kick, steals, misses low in the dirt. Nice block from Castro as the count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. As the Miners, surprising that they're held to such a low run count, as they've only scored 5 in the past 3 games on the season, now scoring 203, where the Bucs now have scored 181. They sit 2nd in that category. The 2-2, this one shot into right center field. Moving back is Enos. Looking at it, he makes the catch on the move right in front of the wall for out number 2. So a couple line drive outs that have hit well, but unfortunately for the Miners, they're just hitting it right at the defenders of the Bucs. And we noticed that a few games ago. That was the downside of the Miners' bats.
Absolutely, and there's no wind coming out here at Harmon Brothers Field. Flag is kind of just staying put out in dead center field, so the jet stream that's usually out to right, it's not here today.
As Josh Hatcher, who had a hit in his last at-bat, hits one over to first. The underhand toss to the first base bag is just in time for out number 3, as Casey O'Sullivan, for the 3rd time today, retires the Miners in order. As we're still all tied up at 1 for the final 3 innings, I'll throw it back over to my partner, Connor Mills, on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Top of the 7th inning. This ball game is no more than where we left it back in the 3rd. It's still tied, 1-1. Bucs 1, Miners 1. Churchill still on the mound. Churchill coming in relief for Josh Haley, and the book has been closed on Josh Haley. A nice inning of work. Got 1 out to end the top of the 5th inning. Worked into the 6th, got 2 outs, and then Ian Churchill came in to get 1 pitch and a ground out from Brennan Bro to end the threat in the top of the 6th. We're here on the top of the 7th inning. Leading things off will be Logan Enos, followed by Jacob Castro, and then Dimitri Calaccio. Interesting stat line on Ian Churchill in all the games, including relief appearances. The Miners have won the ball game just by having Ian Churchill out on the mound. So something that a trend the Miners look to continue, as he is still pitching here right now. First pitch is swung on and fly ball out into right field. Giving chase will be Nick Brooks, but that one will be going near the Miners bullpen and not out of play, but just out of reach.
Anytime you can have a mojo like that going, it's going to give you confidence. And Ian has pitched well so far this season. He goes in with confidence regardless of the record.
0-1 the count. The pitch to Enos is taken high and away for ball 1. Ian Churchill out of Santa Barbara City College has found a lot of success here with the Mat-Su Miners this year. As a 1-1 is delivered, this one's a fly ball out into right field. Nick Brooks circles under it, makes one-hand catch for the first out here on the top of the 7th. Routine fly out from Logan Enos, as now Jacob Castro will stroll out to the dish.
And going to be interesting to see how long they go with Ian Churchill. No one up yet in the pen, or who will come in next, whether it be a reliever or another minor starter. So going to be interesting to see what this strategy goes on in the ballgame.
Castro, a lefty. Churchill, a lefty. First pitch is low and in for a ball. For Ian Churchill, he's faced the Bucs twice this season, has a 1-0 record, has allowed no runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, and struck out 11. As this one is swung on and fouled off towards the left side, count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Church also with that big start on July 24th when 7 scoreless innings. That was huge for the Miners to get the win.
Huge indeed as the 1-1 is delivered, taken inside up near the hands of Jacob Castro. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count with 1 out here on the top of the 7th inning. There's nobody on base, and this game is tied up at 1 apiece. For the Bucs, 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. For the Miners, 1 run on 4 hits, no errors for the Miners, as this one is swung on and missed by Castro on a high heater from Ian Churchill. 2-2 the count. Churchill looking for his first strikeout today. Logan Eads led off the inning. He flew out to right field as now Churchill working from the windup. The 2-2 swung on and fouled off. Toward has been worked full by Jacob Castro. And Castro,
job of Ian Churchill right now, finding the zone much like he always does, getting big outs right now. You have to wonder when the Miners hitting will finally back up the pitching.
First pitch into Calaccio is taken just a bit high for ball 1. Calaccio on the day, he had a sacrifice bunt that put Jacob Castro in scoring position and then flew out to left field in his 2 at-bats as this is his 3rd trip to the plate. He checks his swing and, according to James Purnell, does not go around. 2 balls and no strikes is the count from Ian Churchill to Dimitri Calaccio. Churchill looking to go 1-2-3 as there are 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. The ball game tied up at 1 as a swing and a pop fly. This one goes straight back and foul out of play.
You got to wonder when the first team is going to break. We mentioned when the Miners hitters are going to come. When's the Bucs hitting going to come? What team will be the first team to finally break this tie?
2-1 the count. The pitch swung on, and this one is fouled off towards the right side and goes out of play again. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for the Mat-Su Miners. On July 26th, when they visited Mulcahy Stadium, they lost 12-0. Then on the 27th, home at Herman Brothers against the Alaskan Gold Panthers. That game ended in a tie, 1-1 in an exhibition, as this one is another foul ball from Dimitri Calaccio. Following the tie to the Gold Panthers just yesterday, the Anchorage Adult All-Stars visited town here at Palmer. And the Miners bats, they came alive. 16-2 victory. And again, that doesn't count as its exhibition, but still a nice show of offense as the 2-2 is delivered from Churchill. And this one is swung on and fouled off. Giving chase is the first baseman Josh Hatcher, but he'll slow it down as that one's out of play again. All strikes have been fouled off from Ian Churchill. 4 foul balls in the count from Dimitri Calaccio.
Calaccio just doing a nice job of fouling off each pitch that's anywhere close. He's really working Ian Churchill.
2-2 and the pitch. Swung on and another foul ball. Make it 5. 5 foul balls off the bat of Dimitri Calaccio as Ian Churchill is trying to put him to bed.
Has to be frustrating for Churchill. Every pitch, Calaccio finds a way to foul it off.
Churchill's 2-2. Swung on, and this one will be in play. It's a high pop-up into right field. Ranging under it is Nick Brooks as he makes the catch for the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 7th inning. Churchill goes 1-2-3. As now the Mat-Su Miners will come to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. Ball game tied up at 1 between the Miners and Bucs as you're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the 7th. Tyler Bassetti, Danny Wright, and Drew Swift are on due up. The bottom 3 of the Miners' order as Bassetti gave a long drive out into left field to make an out, the 3rd and final out to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Just missed a home run by a couple feet as he swings at this first pitch and flies it towards the right side, and that one will go out of play and hop over the fence into Alaskan State Fair property. 0-1 the count with nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Miners and Bucs are tied up at 1 as Casey O'Sullivan is still on the mound for the Anchorage Bucs as he asks for a new ball. So far for the Miners, Brady Corrigan, Josh Haley, and Ian Churchill have pitched. And again for the Bucs, only one pitcher used in Casey O'Sullivan. Tie game, 0-1 count to Tyler Bassetti. O'Sullivan from the windup, he deals, swung on an off-speed pitch for strike 2. Bassetti behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes with nobody out. On deck is Danny Wright. Wright had a base hit his last time up. Bassetti 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a deep fly out to left field. O'Sullivan's 0-2 is swung on and a slow tapper, just foul. Bassetti running out of the box just in case, but that's a good distance foul from the line.
Bassetti, we saw in his first at-bat when he struck out, took a real hefty cut at the ball. So he'll really look to just shorten his swing, sort of relax a little bit, just try to poke a single out. Because for the Miners right now, it's about getting guys on. They always talk about how hitting's contagious, and they really need to start scoring any rally before we move into the latter half of the game.
Hitting was contagious for the Miners in the first as the 0-2 is being delivered to Bassetti. It's a couple bouncing over towards shortstop Calaccio. The throw will just get Tyler Bassetti at first for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Danny Wright will now take a stroll to the plate. Back in the first inning, Kona Quiggle led off with a single. He came around to score the Miners' only run thanks to a Nick Brooks RBI single, as the Miners have not touched home plate since. O'Sullivan's first pitch into Danny Wright misses low for ball 1.
And then, as there's finally someone up in the Bucs pen, can't talk about how great this performance has been from O'Sullivan on the mound for the Bucs.
The 1-0 is swung on and fouled off towards the left side, giving chase to J.C. Correa, still going all the way, but that one will bounce in the gravel over near the Bucs bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike gives the count to Danny Wright as he stays alive at the plate.
And a big game for Sullivan, has pitched well, but still the game is all tied up. The Miners, this is the time to really jump on a pitcher. The 3rd, possibly 4th time you're seeing him in the order. You're going to know what he's going to bring to you, so just try your best to do anything to get on base.
No action up in the Miners bullpen as it looks like Ian Churchill will come on for another inning, as the 1-1 count into Danny Wright misses 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the count. Danny Wright, 1 for 2 today, had a strikeout in the 2nd, a base hit in the 5th, as he swings and fouls this one off towards the left side, and that'll go out of play.
Danny's been a great player for this Miners team all season long. Really done a nice job of hitting, especially early in the season, was one of the key components, and has started to brought it back as we move into this latter half of the season.
2-2 the count. The pitch misses low in the dirt Danny Wright looking to reach base for the second time today, second straight time. As the count is run full, 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ball game is tied up at 1. Miners 1, Bucs 1. O'Sullivan still on the mound. From the windup, he deals. Swung on a broken bat, and that's a soft liner. The bat went further than the ball as the bat reached the hole over near first and second. Luckily, nobody was hit by any flying wood, but it's an out for the Miners and Danny Wright. And now Drew Swift at the plate.
And Casey O'Sullivan is thankful that that was a broken bat hit, because if not, that would have been an absolute laser back to the pitcher's mound. So the Bucs luck out. But nevertheless, Swift, he lifted one already this game. See what he can do here.
Drew Swift, he is 0 for 1. Had a sacrifice bunt in the 5th and flew out to left field in the 2nd as he fouls one off here. 0-1. 0-1 the count to Drew Swift, and against the Anchorage Bucs, he's batting .200, 6 hits and 30 at-bats, has 4 RBIs, and has walked 3 times as the 0-1 is being delivered. It's a breaking ball that cruises right into the strike zone. No balls and 2 strikes against Drew Swift from Casey O'Sullivan. Outfield is playing Swift more towards right as the center fielder's in the right center field gap. The 0-2. Swift thinks about it but holds off as he watches that one go low in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Swift would be a guy you want on. Very fast, can move around the base pass quickly.
1-2 the count. The pitch into Swift misses high near his head and inside. 2-2. Swift out of Chandler, Arizona. 6'1", 150 pounds. Attends Arizona State. As he's looking to get on base here. 2-2 the count with 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning. O'Sullivan's pitch is swung on. It's a low looper out into right field. Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Top of the 8th inning, Ian Churchill will remain on the mound as it's been a starters game so far for the Miners. Starter Brady Corrigan was the official starter. Josh Haley, who's been in the starting rotation, as well as Ian Churchill. Both pitchers coming in for relief. Churchill, who appeared in the bottom, check that, top of the 6th inning, as an off-speed pitch is good for a strike to Daniel Fredrickson, 0-1. Churchill came in the top of the 6th, got a ground out to put the inning to bed, then went 1-2-3 in the 7th. From the windup, Churchill's ready and deals. Daniel Fredrickson thought about it, but then at the last second pulls out as the count is went even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Churchill looking to do what his counterpart on the mound, Casey O'Sullivan, did and went 1-2-3 to end the Miners in the bottom of the 7th as we're here on the top of the 8th inning. Looks like Nathan Bach is on the mound in the bullpen, warming up. As the count is at 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody out here on the top of the 8th inning to Daniel Fredrickson. From the windup, Churchill deals. Swung on and missed. 4 strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes is your count from Churchill to Fredrickson. Fredrickson is 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to first, had a sacrifice fly to bring in the Bucs' only run, and then grounded out to the pitcher. As this off-speed pitch just missed inside. A nice-looking breaker from Ian Churchill, but does not get the call from home plate umpire Brad Polk. Count is run full to Daniel Fredrickson, and he is not a guy you want to walk because of Jake Veith on deck. 3-2 the count, the pitch. Swung on and missed. For strike 3, the putout still needs to be completed, and it is. Austin Pianarini does a nice job. The ball went in and out of his glove, but he's able to throw it to Josh Hatcher to complete the strikeout. The first strikeout for Ian Churchill on the day, as now Jake Veith will come to the plate.
That is so true. That's a huge strikeout. We mentioned it's always important what you do before Veith and Correa and after them. They've done a perfect job with the guys before and so far with Van de Break after as well.
Jake Veith has 2 hits on the day as he's 2 for 3 as he swings through this one. 0-1. Veith had a single back in the first. He tried to stretch it to a double, but Danny Wright threw him out trying to get to second base. A nice tag by Caleb Van Blake as the 0-1 is swung on and missed by Jake Veith again. 0-2.
Veith getting wide-eyed right there, those 2 swings. He's trying to send that one back to Anchorage. Nice job for Ian Churchill placing the breaking ball very well.
The 0-2 count from Ian Churchill. Hits the outside corner for strike 3 called. Second out of the inning. Drew Swift runs from short all the way over to second base. He might have thought that was out number 3. It's a big out, but 1 out still yet to be recorded. That ball looked like it was low and outside to me, but Brad Polk said, hey, that's on the low outside corner.
Well, it did look like it hit just barely the bottom portion of that lower outside corner, so could have went either way, but nevertheless, Ian Churchill has definitely had Jake Veith's number these past 2 outings.
J.C. Correa fouls this one straight back for the count. 0-1. A big strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts for Ian Churchill, Daniel Fredrickson, and Jake Veith, as now J.C. Correa sits with a 1-1 count as a fastball missed outside. Still warming up in the bullpen is Nathan Bach. He's ready in case J.C. Correa reaches base, as a 1-1 is taken outside as well. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Seems like on those past 2 pitches from Churchill, he's not finishing through, sort of wildly kicking the leg and arm around. Look to sort of get back in his mechanics right here.
It's a big out, but he needs to get another one now. As a ground ball over towards first baseman Josh Hatcher, he has it on 2 hops and takes it himself to first for the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 8th inning. No runs come across, so this ball game is still tied up at 1. Bucs 1, Miners 1. Miners come to the plate in the bottom of the 8th when we return here on Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use, like, anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Making his return to the mound is Legend Smith. Smith was out with his wisdom teeth as he was recovering from that surgery, I guess you can call it. I've been fortunate enough not to have my wisdom teeth removed, but not sure what the pain was.
It's rough.
Is it rough?
Rough. Just had it this past year over my Christmas break. It's rough.
Wow. So you know full hand experience.
Oh yeah, I mean it wasn't the worst pain of my life, but it's just not fun.
So Legend Smith returns from that, as now he will face the Mat-Su Miners top of the order, Kona Quiggle. Caleb Van Blake, and Spencer Henson. Legend Smith on the season has a win-loss record of 2-0, a .41 ERA as he misses with the fastball low and away to Conequiggle, 1-0. Has appeared in 7 games, started 3 of them. Make this his 8th game appeared in, as he has no saves, 21 2/3 of an innings pitched, as Conequiggle ropes a line drive out into right field. A leadoff single here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ball game still tied up at 1. One thing that's not tied up anymore is the hits column. 1 run on 5 hits for the Miners, 1 run on 4 for the Anchorage Bucs.
Speaking of mojo, you mentioned how the Miners have won every game with Ian Churchill. The Miners scored last time Conequiggle led off with a base hit, so we'll see if it follows suit in this inning.
A lefty-on-lefty matchup between Caleb Van Blake and Legend Smith. Smith will have to keep a close eye on Conequiggle as he has 4 stolen bases on the season. Almost faking a bunt but pulling it back is Caleb Van Blake. The pitch missed low and away for ball 1. Back to Smith, has 23 strikeouts, 10 walks, and has allowed 17 hits. The last time that Smith appeared on a mound was against the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks on July 18th, where he recorded the win. It was a start for him in one of his 3 starts, where he went 6 innings, allowing 6 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. Legend Smith gave up a leadoff single to Conequiggle here in the bottom of the 8th inning, as now Caleb Van Blake is ahead on the count, 2 balls, no strikes, with nobody out. Van Blake and Spencer Henson up next. Line drive out into right field. That gets down for a base hit. Conequiggle will only move up 1 as a throw comes in to Willie Escala, the second baseman. Caleb Van Blake, the first hit for him on the day, and a first in a while.
Yeah, it is. Van Blake hasn't been seeing the ball all that well of late, but Legend Smith, returning for the first time in a bit, has left 2 pitches well over the plate, and you can't do that against the Miners who have been so good, especially to this next guy. So the Miners, this is your time to attack. Runners on first and second. You want to give the lead to your closer, Bryce Tossan. This is a great opportunity to do so.
There is nobody out. Runners on first and second base. The last time the Miners saw this situation was in the first inning, where Conequiggle led off with a single. Van Blake reached base with a walk, but then Spencer Henson grounded out into a 4-6-3 double play. Since then, Henson flew out to right field in a deep line drive and then had a solid line drive out into deep center field, but Henson just keeps on hitting it at where the Bucs are positioned. So Spencer Henson's 0 for 3 on the day. He looks to get his first hit, and what a hit it would be. Anything in the field will probably score Conequiggle as he's on second base. Henson looking to reclaim the RBI title as he is second to Jake Veet. This he's first pitch swing. This one's a line drive deep out into left center field. That's going all the way back and over, and it one-hops the fence. Caleb Van Blake rounding third. And now scoring is Conequiggle. The Mat-Su Miners have the lead. Caleb Van Blake on third and standing on second base with an RBI double, a long hit deep out into the BP sign. Mat-Su Miners 2, the Anchorage Bucs 1.
What a hit from Spencer Henson. He does it again. Anytime they need a huge hit late in the game for Spencer Henson, he delivers big time. This was an absolute smack. Legend Smith, welcome back to the ABL, says the Miners. Huge hitting to give them the lead. You can tell the Miners want it. They want that first place seed to play at Herman Brothers in the postseason.
A long drive deep out into the BP sign for Spencer Henson. And for Spencer, he's got all the power in the world. We thought that might have been over the fence, but that was just, it appeared to hit the P in the BP sign. So Spencer Henson hits the fence with a RBI double. Now there are 2 runners in scoring position. Henson, he's on second. On third is Caleb Van Blake. We now just have our attendance numbers, thanks to our very own Denise Christopher. 1,439 fans in attendance here at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. The largest attendance today. largest attendance on the season. And it's a big game. The Miners now have 2 runs as they lead the Anchorage Bucs 2-1.
I tell you what, Connor, that was a roar after Spencer Henson hit that one. You could definitely hear that throughout the state.
First pitch into Austin Pinarini is good for a strike. Legend Smith, hello and goodbye. He's still on the mound, but Henson sent that one a long way as he's on second. 2 runners in scoring position for Pinarini, who's down in the count 0-1. Second pitch misses low in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Now warming up, we saw Nathan Bach, but Bryce Tossan, the Miners closer, will be looking to get his league-leading 11th save when he comes back in the top of the 9th. But we're still here in the bottom of the 8th with nobody out, and the Miners a chance to tack on more runs as this one almost hits Pinarini on his shoulder. 2 balls and 1 strike to Pinarini from Gonzaga.
And it all started with Kona, got things going, and it's huge to get that first hit. That's only going to bring more, and the Miners definitely look for more cushion before heading into that bottom of the 9th.
Kona Quiggle led off with a single. Caleb Van Blake single of his own, and then as Pinarini swings and fouls this one straight back, 2 balls and 2 strikes a count.
Top of the 9th, rather.
Top of the 9th. But we're here in the bottom of the 8th as the Mat-Su Miners lead 2-1. Going back through the recap, Van Blake had a single to follow Kona Quiggle. There was runners on first and second base and nobody out. And Spencer Henson, a long drive deep out into left center field for an RBI double. 1 run came across as the Mat-Su Miners hold a 2-1 lead late in this game. For the Miners, they win. They will clinch first seed in the ABL. Home field advantage is the big bonus there, as now a swing and line drive deep out into right field. That will just go foul. Foul ball from Austin Pinarini, as he'll have to do it all over again with the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wow, that one got the people going. Unfortunately, it was just right. Pinarini just a half second ahead of that ball.
2-2 the count to Austin Pinarini, and for the pitcher, Legend Smith, the last time Smith allowed a run was against the Miners on June 20th. We were at July 29th. As now the 2-2, it misses inside and actually hits Austin Pinarini. Bases are juiced for the big bopper, Nick Brooks.
Oh boy, talk about a guy that has grand slam power and a great chance to do so. Nick Brooks. And the Miners, it's so impressive. They did this they've done this many times this season, get all the runs with nobody out, as it looks like Legend Smith, his debut back to the ABL, will come with no outs recorded.
An unfortunate turn of events for Legend Smith, but not for the Mat-Su Miners. Everybody is energetic. They're all out of the dugout, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. When we return, we'll introduce a new pitcher as the Miners hold a 2-1 lead over the Anchorage Bucs for first place in the ABL. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the 8th inning. Miners now hold a 2-1 lead over the Anchorage Bucs in an exciting game here at Harmon Brothers Field. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you. We've been with you all season long, and it's all come down to this. 44 regular season games. This is number 44. As the bases are loaded, Caleb Van Blake on third. Standing on second base with an RBI double is Spencer Henson. And recently just hit by a pitch is Austin Pianarini. For Pianarini, that's the 7th time he's been hit by a pitch. Only second to his teammate Caleb Van Blake, who's been hit by a pitch 11 times.
Exactly, and not only did the Miners get a run against Legend Smith, a guy that's been great against the Miners, but even better overall with no runs allowed in his past 15 1/3 innings pitched. So the Miners finally break through that barrier in a big way.
And Nick Brooks now at the plate. Brooks had an RBI single in the first off of Casey O'Sullivan. He'll now have to do it against the Bucs closer, Adrian Mardueno. Mardueno, 5'10", sophomore, 170 pounds out of San Diego State University. Coming in a big moment here with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. First pitch swinging and a ground ball over towards second baseman Willie Escala. The throw home is in time for the first out. Van Blake put out on a fielder's choice, standing on first. Switching positions with his Gonzaga teammate is Nick Brooks. Austin Pianarini goes to second, and on third is Spencer Henson. Bases are still loaded for the Mat-Su Miners here in the bottom of the 8th inning, as Mardueno has recorded the first out.
And that's all right for the Miners. There's still only one out with the bases loaded.
One out. Josh Hatcher at the plate. First pitch into him is taken low and away for ball 1. Mardueno, 2-1, a perfect ERA. In 14 relief appearances, has 7 saves, has pitched 18 2/3 of an innings pitched. Make it 19 with the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. 26 strikeouts to 4 walks, and has allowed 7 hits. Josh Hatcher at the plate looking to make that 8, and he will. Line drive out into right center field. Another run will come across, and Spencer Henson going from first to third is Nick Brooks, and standing on first with a 2 RBI single is Josh Hatcher. The Miners 4, the Anchorage Bucs 1. Adrian Mardueno has not been tagged for any runs, as the only runs he will allow are all credited to Legend Smith. It's the Miners 4, the Anchorage Bucs 1.
And a rally in the valley it is indeed. This place is rocking. Gotta love it. The Miners performing in a huge moment, really vowing for that 1 seed. What a performance put on right now for the Miners, and they've done it against some great relievers of the Bucs.
Legend Smith with a .43 ERA. That will rise, as now his book is officially closed. For Smith, he has allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks and no strikeouts, as he did not record an out, as Mardueno is now pitching to the third baseman of the Mat-Su Miners in Tyler Bassetti. To recap the inning with only 1 out here and runners at the corners in the bottom of the 8th, as Mardueno pitches to Bassetti as he flies one out into shallow right field. Moving in is a right fielder Enos, but making the catch moving out is the second baseman Willie Escala. Nick Brooks will not tag at second or check that at third, as now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. To quickly recap, Kona Quiggle, Caleb Van Blake, and Spencer Henson all had back-to-back hits. Quiggle single, Van Blake single, Spencer Henson RBI double to break the tie. Austin Pianarini was hit by a pitch. Nick Brooks grounded out to second base on a fielder's choice. The throw went home to save a run. Josh Hatcher, a 2 RBI single. And that's where we find ourselves now. After Hatcher, Tyler Bassetti flew out to second baseman Willie Escala. And now at the plate is Danny Wright.
And what has been a great performance right now for the Miners. And it's going to be in the hands now of Bryce Tossin with a nice cushion.
Second pitch into Danny Wright misses. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the Miners 4, the Anchorage Bucs 1. Danny Wright looking for his second hit of the day. He struck out and flew out on a broken bat line drive back to Casey O'Sullivan as he swings and fouls this one off. 1 ball, 1 and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
And this is huge right now for the Miners. The Bucs, they've been the hot team, but the Miners, they've been at the top just playing steady. So they are definitely the ones that sizzle the fire of the Bucs, trying to deliver them their third loss.
1-2 the count. Danny Wright at the plate. The pitch taken inside on the move was Josh Hatcher, and the throw goes into the outfield. Josh Hatcher will go to third base, and coming in to score is Nick Brooks. It's no longer a safe situation for Bryce Tossan, as the Mat-Su Miners have scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. An error will be charged to Jacob Castro on the throw, allowing the run to score, so Mardueno's perfect ERA will remain intact. But there'll be a little asterisk there, as now the Mat-Su Miners put up a 4 spot against Legend Smith and Adrian Mardueno. It's the Miners 5, the Anchorage Bucs 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And still at the plate is Danny Wright, as he took the pitch inside for ball 2 as he swings through here for a strike, for a foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Four runs here coming in the bottom of the 8th, thanks in part to the top of the order, Kona Quiggle, Caleb Van Blake, and Spencer Henson. Josh Hatcher doing a job as well, as now hit at the ankles is Danny Wright. He hobbles off a little bit as he'll take a slow walk over to first. We do know that Aaron Walters tweaked his knee in yesterday's exhibition game, so we may or may not see Walters in the near future. Hopefully he's all right, but an injury to Danny Wright would not look good for the Miners going into postseason play. Adrian Mardueno, a hit by pitch to Danny Wright, as now 9 batters in the order have come to the plate. Drew Swift, who made the final out in the bottom of the 7th, will stand in with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Runners are at the corners for the Mat-Su Miners. Josh Hatcher, he's on third, and on first base with a hit by pitch is Danny Wright.
Connor, this looks eerie similar to that 12-inning marathon where the Miners sort of saved all their runs for that 12th inning, and now they're bringing the heat here in the bottom of the 8th.
And what a place to do it. None other than Herman Brothers Field to try to clinch first place. First pitch into Drew Swift is a breaking ball from Mardueno that misses low and away for ball 1. Mardueno coming in relief for Legend Smith, and for Smith, all runs that are earned have been credited to him. 3 runs earned, 4 runs in the inning. 1-0 the count to Drew Swift as he watches a fastball sail high for ball 2. 2-0 the count with 2 outs. Runners at the corners for the Mat-Su Miners. Drew Swift on the day looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. That bunt came in the 5th inning.
And I'm sure Bryce Tossan would not mind a bit that it's not going to be a save situation, and hopes the Miners keep adding runs.
3 straight balls from Legend Smith. Check that, from Adrian Mardueno to Drew Swift. And Swift, we'll have to assume, will hold his bat as the count is at 3 balls and no strikes with runners at the corners. Adrian Mardueno looks over, now deals. A fastball hits the inside corner for strike 1. 3-1 is the count.
Swift, to definitely be good to see him get ahead. He's been struggling of late, but we all know the Miners, they love to score in bunches, and why not add some more?
3-1 the count to Drew Swift with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning as he will receive ball 4 from Adrian Mardueno. Uncharacteristic outing from Mardueno, as now that's the 5th walk allowed. A hit by pitch followed by 5 pitches, 4 of them for balls. As Kona Quiggle, who led this inning off, will return to the plate.
And uncharacteristic for Mardueno, but he has come in a tough situation trying to shut down this hot-hitting Miners team here in the bottom of the 8th. But the man that started it all is back up to the plate. We'll see what Kona does with the bases full.
Bases are loaded. As the Miners, they've scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. All earned runs coming and being accredited to Legend Smith. Adrian Mardueno was able to get 2 outs, but still the elusive 3rd out has yet to be recorded as the Mat-Su Miners have runners on each base. Kona Quiggle now at the plate. His last time up started off in the bottom of the 8th inning. It was a single, and double from the 1-2-3 of the Mat-Su Miners. Kona Quiggle looking to get his second hit of the inning. Quiggle 2 for 4 on the day, as it's a righty on lefty matchup. First pitch from Arduino to Quiggle is swung on and missed for strike one. And for Kona Quiggle, he's changed up his stance just a little bit. We saw that change coming in the exhibition games. He's liked the change. It's worked for him so far, as he has 2 hits on the day, and I don't see any reason why he'll change it from here.
No, not at all. He's playing well.
0-1 the count. The pitch from Arduino is taken in for a called strike. No balls, 2 strikes, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning to Kona Quiggle.
Kona does have a grand slam to his name. This would be a great time to deliver another one to really put a stamp on this game.
Scores at 5-1. Mat-Su Miners over the Anchorage Bucs. Arduino from the stretch, a deep breath in, and he's ready. The 0-2 is swung on, and it's a pop fly out into left center field. Ranging in is the left fielder Daniel Fredrickson. The third out has been recorded, but not before the Mat-Su Miners have batted around and put up a 4 spot against the Anchorage Bucs in a game for first place in the Alaskan Baseball League. It's the Miners 5, the Bucs 1, and now we'll see a pitching change as the Miners look to close this game out. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Baseball.
In a non-save situation, instead of going to the Mat-Su Miners closer, manager Ben Taylor elects to go with the big lefty from Texas A&M, Asa Lacey, on to close this game out for the Mat-Su Miners, who hold a 5-1 lead here in the top of the 9th inning. Miners, with a win here today, they clinch the regular season title for the Alaskan Baseball League and also clinch home field advantage for the entirety of the postseason. Leading things off will be Jace Vandebreak for the Pilots. And for Asa Lacey, 3-1 on the season, a 2.2 ERA, and 32 2/3 innings pitched. For Lacey, 45 strikeouts to 10 walks. And against the Bucs, hasn't seen a lot of success, but does have 4 runs to play with here. In 2 appearances, he's 0 for 1, allowed 7 runs, 4 earned, has given up 11 hits, 4 walks, and has struck out 6 batters as the first pitch into Jace Vandebreak misses high and away for ball 1. Ian Churchill would be the winning pitcher on record. As 1-0 is delivered, this one is low enough to hit the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jace Vandebreak from Asa Lacey. Lacey, this is his second relief appearance. He's started 6 games for the Miners as the 1-1 misses low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jace Vandebreak. For the Mat-Su Miners, 1,439 fans in attendance here at Harmon Brothers Field. Asa Lacey looking to close this game out and send everybody home happy. A foul ball from Jace Vanderbrake brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. With nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning, the Miners putting up a 4 spot on the Bucs against Legend Smith and then Adrian Mardueno. Unfortunately for Mardueno, his perfect ERA will stay intact. I guess unfortunate for the Miners that they can't claim it as this one's taken on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Asa Lacey doing a nice job setting down the first batter he sees on strikes on a 2-2 count. Vanderbrake goes down looking.
And that's what Asa Lacey does, a big strikeout guy, the tall 6'4" man on the mound. As he wanted to pitch in this game, went into Ben Taylor's office after he started a few days ago and said, I want to pitch in the Bucs game in any way, shape, or form, and here he is doing well.
Now first pitch into Willie Escala is found straight back. 0-1. Miners 2 outs away from clinching home field advantage and celebrating on their field. Lacey from the windup, he deals. Swung on, bouncing ball over towards third, but that goes foul and will be touched by the manager of the Anchorage Bucs, Ken Hokoff.
Always dangerous when Lacey's ahead in the count, 0-2. Never really know what to expect with him because he places the fastball well with the breaking ball and a changeup.
0-2 the count. Asa Lacey pitching to Willie Escala. This one hits the inside corner. Strike 3 called again. Back-to-back strikeouts for Asa Lacey. And now the Anchorage Bucs are down to their final outs here in the ball game.
Wow, what impressive placement of a fastball right there from Lacey. If you swing at it, if you're Scala, it's a tough pitch to hit. Comes in at around 93, 94. Asa Lacey really trying to slam the door on what has been a great game for the Miners.
Brennan Breaux at the plate, the center fielder for the Bucs, as he takes a fastball strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Asa Lacey is dialed in as he is ready to send the Miners fans home happy. No balls, 1 strike and 2 outs. The pitch, high and away for ball 1. Final line on Ian Churchill. Should everything remain the same, he'll be the winning pitcher on record. 2 in the 3rd innings pitched. No hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. As a 1-1 is taken outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count to Brennan Breaux. And Breaux, I guess not good fans with second baseman Caleb Van Blake. He's grounded out to him twice. The 2-1. Swung on, bouncing ball over the first base bag. That's a fair ball. Rounding first and heading for second is Brennan Breaux, and he'll go without a throw. Nick Brooks now just gets to it on the line. It's a 2-out double for Brennan Breaux, the first hit on his day. As now the job will be tasked to Logan Enos to keep the Anchorage Bucs regular season alive.
And that's smart there from Nick Brooks. Just gather yourself. Don't try to make something out of nothing. Just focus on the batter as you have the 4-run cushion.
With the base hit given up, manager Ben Taylor will take a slow walk out to the mound and have a chat with Asa Lacey. Since it's the manager, you'd have to guess that a new pitcher will come in, and the signal has been made. New man on the mound. It looks like the closer Bryce Tossan will come in. We'll confirm when we return here on Matsu Miners Radio. The Miners 5, the Anchorage Bucs 1.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Josh Hatcher, who broke the game open thanks to a 2 RBI single. You just heard his voice as the Matsu Miners lead 5-1. This ball game has 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Asa Lacey gets 2 outs, allowed a hit, but got 2 strikeouts as now Bryce Tossan, the Miners closer, will come in and look to get the 3rd and final out here in the game. Tossan, a 1-3 record, a .83 ERA, has 21 2/3 of an innings pitched, and has appeared in 19 relief appearances. This will be his 20th. Tossan, 6'2", 212 pounds, from Walker, Louisiana, and southeastern Louisiana for his college, where he's a redshirt sophomore. Opponents are batting against Tossan, 195. Has a whip of 1.06 and averages around 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. Tossan has given up 15 hits and has 10 saves on the season. This is a non-save situation for Bryce, as he was only looking to get 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. That out he's looking to get will be in the form of Logan Enos. Enos on the day is 0 for 3. Has flew out to center field, flew out to right, and grounded out to Caleb Van Blake. Bryce Tossan to look in to his catcher, Austin Pinarini. First pitch on the way is taken on the outside corner for a called strike. Bucs now down to 2 strikes remaining.
And last time we saw Bryce against the Bucs, he pitched with a lot of confidence in that 6-out save, so expect to keep coming with those confident pitches today.
Second pitch on the outside corner again. No balls, 2 strikes. The Bucs are down to their final strike of the game. The Matsu Miners looking to clinch first place right here and right now. They lead the Anchorage Bucs by a score of 5-1. Bryce Tossan on the rubber from the stretch. He's ready and deals. Swung on and a pop fly out into shallow left field. Ranging over is the shortstop Drew Swift in foul territory, and the Matsu Miners have won the ball game. The Matsu Miners storm the fields. Smiles all around. A tremendous job from the pitching staff today. Corrigan, Haley, Churchill, Lacey, and Tossan all doing their job as the Matsu Miners have clinched first place and have beaten the Anchorage Bucs by a score of 5-1. Winning pitcher on record, Ian Churchill. Churchill gets his ABL leading 7th win, as he's a perfect 7-0.
What a performance by the Miners today, Connor. Backs against, not necessarily backs against the wall, but a lot of pressure, especially coming from the press, saying the Bucs are the hot team. They are getting hot late, but the Miners dropped any thought of that with a very impressive performance today.
Just a great job, as now both teams shaking the hands, and I'm almost certain these 2 teams will see each other again at some point in the postseason. The Miners will most likely have to get through the Anchorage Glacier Pilots to get into the top of the World Series for the 4th straight year, and for the Anchorage Bucs, most likely they will face the Peninsula Oilers. It's 1 seed versus the 4 seed, and the 3 seed against the 2 seed. The 1 seed, the Matsu Miners. Every game in the postseason for them will be held here at Herman Brothers Field, where they now hold a record of 17-5. So for Brad Walker, this is Connor Mills. Again, the Matsu Miners have a 5-1 victory over the Anchorage Bucs to clinch first place in the Alaskan Baseball League. We thank you for joining us from wherever you may be. And again, signing off from Anchorage, from Palmer.